This is the Three King Protocol podcast. We have a special guest with us, Marist Star Guard, MAC All Rookie Team, MAC All Championship Team, MAC Rookie of the Week. We got Isaiah Brickner from San Diego, California. Zay, bro, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Zay, you played in all 33 games for Marist last season, but the last 30 games you started, and there was a specific game where I felt like you really showed out and you kind of proved to everybody and almost like the team and the coaches that you were that dynamic player who was going to really be huge for the team against Princeton. I don't know if you remember, man, you dunked on that kid from Princeton. I was like, oh, okay. I knew you had that in your bag, but like to see that in a game, bro, what was that moment like?
I remember going into that game. I wasn't starting yet, but I might have started. That might have been the first game I saw. I don't remember, or maybe it was the next game. But I remember they had a big guard, and they wanted me to guard him. So I came into that game knowing I had a challenge to guard that player, so I had to be extra locked in more than I even usually was. So going in, having to guard one of their better players, and then really just playing in front of our home crowd, really just wanted to win. It was one of the first games in, so nobody really knew who I was yet, too. So, like you said, I really had to go in and prove myself. So, down the stretch, that game was tight pretty much the whole game. I think they came out at the beginning of the game. They had a nice little lead on us, but we cut it down near the end of the game. And I think that dunk that I had was like 5 minutes later, something like that. It was like to tie the game or something like that. So it was just a big momentum play. It was great to feel that energy from the crowd and from my teammates and stuff. So that's really all it was. I was just locked in, really just trying to win that game.
I think we called a timeout because we were down by like 20 or something,
Yeah.
almost that, and then we cut it. And then I think after that dunk, I hear you saying, "He don't want it. He don't want it. He not ready." That was tough, and I was like, all right, Zay is he's arrived. There's a quote they say, "Pressure makes diamonds." And throughout the season, being a student manager, I kind of got to witness what the practices were like. And Coach Dunn, he was really on you. He had a lot of pressure on you throughout all the practices, but you still stayed with like a high head and you had the positive attitude, and you just got better and better. You want to describe uh, the importance of having that mindset to stay focused, even when you have people or coaches, players on you with that pressure. What's the importance of having that mindset not only in basketball but off the court, just in life?
Yeah, of course. I mean, coming into Marist, I told Coach Dunn from day one. Me and my dad told him that I wanted to be Coach Hard. Like I want to be the best player I could possibly be. So coming in, I already knew it was going to be hard. I didn't know it was going to be that hard in practice every day, but it's the same mentality that I've grown up with my whole life. What my parents have taught me my whole life, to be resilient, to fight through adversity and all that. So really it was the same stuff. I was experiencing the same things that my parents had prepared me for my whole life. And I love to play the game of basketball. So at the end of the day, it's still fun for me, even when, we're going through adversity and all that. So I was having fun out there on the court, and I was getting an opportunity. And I knew all the coaches and everyone really wanted me to be successful. So that also helps.
I kind of got to witness your work ethic, before practices, before the games. You're there hours putting in work, putting up shots. Could you describe a little bit of your daily work ethic as a D1 athlete, and how has that changed? Has that changed from going from high school to college, and have you always had that strong work ethic?
I say, yeah, I definitely have always had that strong work ethic. Like I said, I love basketball, so I'm in the gym whenever I can possibly get in the gym. I just love to be in the gym. I love to get better. A usual day for me, I guess on game days, usually we have like shoot around in the morning. I usually go to shoot before we have shoot around, like an hour before, get some shots up, get my feel right, and then we'll eat, and then we'll have film usually. And then before the game, I'll usually get to the arena an hour before we're even supposed to be there. So it's usually like 2.5 hours before the game starts. So I'll make sure I get my treatment, and then I'll get back on the court and get up shots like for another 30, 45 minutes or so before there's anyone on the court, because I always like getting out there before anyone's there. I don't like all the balls on the hoop. You feel me? So I like to get there early, get shots up, get my warm up in before everyone's there. And then on a non-game day, usually it depends. It depends on how tired I am and how much practice we have. But I usually get to the gym a good 45, 30 minutes before practice starts and get up shots before practice. Then I'll stay after practice to usually shoot a little bit, do a little skill work just to say, fine tune and stuff during the season. Because once that season starts, man, it gets crazy. There's so many games and practices and stuff. It's hard to stay in the gym like that all the time. So for me, it's important to make sure I always find those like 30, 45-minute little pockets just to make sure I stay fine tuned with my skill work and my mechanics and all that.
And a little earlier, we talked about pressure. Do you feel any pressure, coming into year two, knowing that you're gonna be one of the leaders, you're gonna be one of the stars on this team? What's your mindset coming into this season, knowing that you want to get back to that level and perform at the level you did last season?
Yeah, there's really no pressure to be honest. I mean, I trust my work and I know the work that I put in and the work my teammates put in is going to show at the end of the day. So that's really all the only goal is just to win games and win this championship. Everything else is going to come with winning. That's really all it is.
Right, I love that mindset. I'm definitely looking forward to coming through some games and seeing you guys achieve success. Who originally got you into basketball? Why, your love for basketball? When did that start? At what age? And how did that develop?
I've loved basketball my whole life. My grandpa played basketball. Both my grandmas played basketball. My dad played basketball. My mom played basketball. Like everybody in my family, it's just a whole basketball family. So I grew up watching basketball. I grew up playing basketball. All that. So I've been playing my whole life.
Obviously, Zay, you from San Diego, California, coming to Marist all the way upstate New York. Could you describe a little bit the difference in, is there a difference in style of play, basketball? They say there's different, different basketball cities. Could you just describe the difference in culture, maybe basketball and off the court, coming from San Diego, West Coast, coming down to the East Coast?
Yeah, it's definitely a completely different culture. West Coast, I feel like West Coast is more like I guess like skilled in a way. I don't like there's definitely skilled players over here, but I feel like West Coast is more like finesse, like skill shooting in a sense more. Whereas when you come over here on the West Coast, it's like all like grinded out, like defense, like banging in the posts, ball handling. Like everyone over here, all the guards over here got a super tight handle. So I guess it's just like two different I don't know focuses, but it was really good for me to be able to be on both sides because I feel like it just making me a more complete player, being able to do both of those things, be on the physical side and really just grind it out for 40 minutes, and then also having that deep bag coming from the West Coast, being able to pull out all sorts of different things.
As far as your game, you're pretty much an all-around player. You got all those things to your bag. Could you just talk a little bit about the importance of not only just being able to score, just being able to play defense, but you coming into the game all well-rounded? Something that you kind of, always had that mentality.
Yeah, of course. I'll give you a story. Growing up, I was I was like 5'6" all the way up until high school. I was tiny. So I was always playing point guard, right? And that's really where I learned those skills because my dad played point guard. So I grew up really small, really short, and nobody ever thought that I was gonna be good at anything and like basketball wise at all. So I grew up, developed those point guard skills, and as I got to high school, I started to grow a little bit, and I grew a little bit more going into my sophomore and junior year. I really didn't play at all my sophomore and junior year of high school. Like I was on varsity sophomore. I was on freshman as a freshman, and I played really well. Then I was still short, and I got moved up. And sophomore and junior year, I didn't play at all. Like I got no minutes, bro. So really, that whole thing, everyone was just telling me just stay locked in. Because I was growing a little bit more. I was still working out every day. Like I still love the game, but it was just hard during that time, just not being able to play, be out on the court. Because my coach, I mean, nobody thought I was good enough, So being able to stay locked in, I felt like it really built character for me and really helped me fall in love with the game even more because I really saw that grind. And then my senior year came along, and I was at the point. I think I was 6'4" then. I'm probably the same height I am now. And I was the tallest kid on my team, which was crazy. My coach put me in the post. I wasn't even playing point guard anymore. So I was down low in the post, learning all these post skills my whole senior year. And then I graduate, I go to prep school, and I'm back at the point guard. I'm not gonna lie, I played the 1, 2, and the 3 at prep school. So really just my whole life, I've been bouncing around positions, learning different things. So I think that's definitely like in the moment it sucked being having to learn so many different positions and so many different moves and stuff. Like I hated it because I felt like I never like was able to master one thing. But looking back on it now, it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me because now I can do a little bit of all that stuff. I can go down in the post a little bit. I can, play the 1, play the 2, score, pass, whatever you need me to do. So I guess that really just goes to show like you stay locked in. If you really love it, like it's going to work out in the end at the end of the day. So that's really just the message. Just stay locked in, keep working on your craft.
Now looking back, I mean, currently you just led Marist to their first championship game, having an all breakout season. But like you mentioned, not getting any minutes freshman year and sophomore year. What's one piece of advice you would give to maybe some high school athletes or kids who are, love the game of basketball?
Yeah, I definitely just tell them, you gotta stay consistent, trust the process because it's definitely a process. Like I said, I didn't play at all sophomore, junior year at high school. So, there's definitely hope. If you really love basketball, you're gonna find a way. Like people are gonna find you if you could really hoop. Just stay locked in the gym, put up shots every day, work on whatever your weaknesses are, work on your weaknesses. That's really the best advice I could give.
What's like your favorite post game and pre game meal? And is there like a specific one? I'm like, yo, I need this to stay locked in. I'm gonna go off if I eat this, or is it just like, bro, it don't even matter?
Yeah. Pre-game, I don't know. We usually eat the same thing pre-game and post-game here. Like they cater food for us. So it's basically some sort of pasta or chicken for pre-game and it's damn near the same thing post-game. Like we pretty much eat the same thing every day. Like just different sorts of pasta, chicken, salmon, like just like I don't know, high calorie foods that'll give you energy for the game and then good foods for recovery after.
For all the Marist fans and long time Marist fans and people who are tuned in and really excited about this basketball season coming up, is there anything you want to say, uh, about the team this year? How you feel about the new group of guys who are coming along, and
Yeah.
how do you feel? Are you excited? Are
Oh
you
yeah, locked in, man. We locked in. We coming for that championship. We about to hang a banner up at Poughkeepsie this year. That's the goal, and that's what's gonna happen.